Welcome to the Known Zone. My name is Andy Haynes. I'm joined by my consummate co-host, the Pinoy boy, the taro root himself.
It's me, Wilfred.
Wilfred Padua.
35 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Is there a train?
There is a train. I don't take it because I have a 6-year-old. So like when it's time to get home,
it's car time.
it's car time.
Oh, but then you gotta. Aren't the
The
tunnels
6-year-old
expensive?
drives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she's like
The 6-year-old's
"Let's
your
go."
driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to deal with the tunnels. Sorry.
The tunnels
I'm
is
sorry.
terrible.
No, it's okay.
We've started. This is already the.
We're starting.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We'll introduce you in a second.
No. This is it.
This is the Known Zone, like I just said, and I've been told that we need to explain what this podcast is. And this podcast is a kind of educational podcast where we pick a topic that neither of us knows about, and we invite a funny friend on, and then we explore that topic.
We learn together.
Having a good hang. And today, Big Git,
Huge
old
Git.
friend, he almost spit out his water with that.
When you said big get, I was like, oh boy, what a precedent.
Yeah, you should know how low we've been shooting.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited to have you.
Actor,
I've known
writer.
of you for years.
I've known of you for years. as well.
improviser,
Every time I see your name on at the end of a TV show,
father,
I'm like, hell yeah.
Big fan of your comedy.
Oh, stop.
Look at this in
Activist.
and out, man. This thread is popping.
Hell yeah.
Rene Gube, welcome to the
Rene
Known Zone.
Gube.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
I know Rene because my one and only WJ writing job, Rene was in the room with me, and he also was an actor on that show, so he got to see
Oh, you
me.
were?
Yeah. I was in my first series regular job.
Oh, okay.
And took to me, was like a fast friend, although we had one hiccup, which was an immediate L for Andy, which was I asked him where he was from, like ethnically.
Yes, this is a very
Andy question.
Andy question.
I always got to know.
I have no memory of this. I may have buried it if it's traumatic.
It's
Go ahead,
it's
finish the story.
semi-dramatic. You said you're Filipino, and I was trying to be funny, and I said, the Mexicans of the sea, and you did not laugh
That's
or
very funny.
smile at all.
Yeah.
That is very funny.
And I
pretty
was like,
funny.
my bad. Sorry.
You know what? I'll tell you. I do remember it, and I think it's because of how racist your face looks.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I didn't know if we were both in on the joke
Yeah,
or
yeah.
if it was just for you.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, it was like very poor form.
But
Especially
we
gotta
rose
warm up
above
to
it.
that.
minutes,
Yeah.
minutes into knowing you, probably.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, prepare myself.
Yeah.
Because also that was like my third writer's room, and I was like a staff writer for 2 writers' rooms before that, and it was all like 40-year-old white men making that
Yeah.
type of like, hey man, it's crazy that you're writing jokes now because you should be like making volleyballs in the Philippines or something. Totally, you know what I mean? And it's like not for me, just for them.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But
I mean, I feel like that room was all jokes for the showrunner.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
We were told one time, because I didn't know in that room, like that was my very first thing. Every single day I would make a mistake that would usually get somebody fired, but I was a stand-up that had never
Yeah.
written in a room. And one day I made a joke and the boss just like shook his head and he goes, the shit runs downhill here. Meaning like, you do not joke about me. I joke about you.
Oh, you made a joke about him?
Oh, I made some horrible mistakes with that boss. He made fun of my divorce. I brought up who his ex-wife used to date, like, or his current wife.
But he was like, I don't want to use the specifics. Ex fucked your wife, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like fucking
Dead silence in the room. Jenny Lee, who's a good friend of ours, was like, Andy, let's go talk in my office. It was like one of those moments like, you're probably fired right now.
That was a youngish room in general. Like there was a lot of us still figuring out the job. And then like 3 like
It was
guys in their 50s.
It was so fun
you know what I mean?
because it was like we were all pretty young. We
Yeah.
were like it was like kind of the last bit of our 20s, early 30s.
Yes.
Everybody was transitioning from kind of wild 20s or somewhat wild 20s for TV writers into like adulthood, getting married, things like that.
Very
and
much.
It was like we had so much fun outside of that room.
That room could have. There was very much it's funny that you say that it was like a transition time because it was a huge transition time for me. I was like I was just out of like a relationship, and I was like hanging out with you and Rory a lot, And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll dip my toe into stand-up and be one of these guys, because that would be so much fun. I admired what you guys did so much. And then I fell in love and became like a full-on adult and had a child and got married, like, and did that
you fell in love
instead.
with a person.
I fell in love with a person, not stand-up.
Co-star.
Co-star.
Showmance.
My current wife.
Yeah.
Current wife. My current.
My wife for the time
at
being.
the moment. Yeah.
So did you do stand-up at all?
I've done stand-up 3
What
times.
is your background?
Comedy-wise?
Yeah.
Like, I did improv. I moved to LA, I went to grad school at UCLA to become a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And then during my like time off and summers and stuff, I did like auditions.
Did you teach at all?
I did. I taught like high school world history.
Oh, I worked as a social worker at a high school.
Wow. Which one? In LA?
No.
Okay.
I never lived in LA. I was in Seattle.
Right. And so you worked with like inner city kids and did the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know that life.
You guys
actually worked at the school that
Michelle Pfeiffer,
Andy went to.
Dangerous Minds. Which one, Washington or?
John Muir.
Oh, yeah, John Muir. John Muir, crazy story. My 5th grade teacher's son shot his 7th grade teacher. Like,
Whoa.
my 5th grade teacher's son.
Your 5th grade teacher's son shot his 7th grade teacher.
When he was like an adult. He was like an adult now.
He went back.
And he went back and shot. And it turned out he'd been doing some bad stuff.
He went back
to
to
the
the
kids.
school?
Ooh, that's so intense.
Yeah.
It happened at school?
Not,
the 7th grade teacher was
the 7th graders.
loose with his hands.
Yes, loose with his hands at. It wasn't Meany. It was like one of those like Seattle. Madison. What was?
Did you go to Meany?
Hamilton. It was Hamilton Middle School, and he did like a sniper move. He like waited by the staff parking lot, waited for the guy to come out, gadded him up.
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow, that's super.
Yeah, it was intense because there wasn't school shootings then. You know,
Right.
There wasn't things like that. There was like
A pioneer.
my he's
The Lewis and Clark.
He was what was I gonna say? There was a lot of gang violence at my middle school and
In Seattle,
high school.
there's Seattle gangs?
Oh yeah, we had like a lot of Crips, Bloods, folks, you know, like that kind of
Wow.
thing. Yeah.
I didn't
Tough guys. We
know
are.
that at all.
Walked into the bathroom in 7th grade. There was my best friend from woodshop was holding a bag of crack. Was like, Andy, you're cool, but if you tell anybody about this, I'll kill you. And then I was like, yeah, great.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm gonna go back to the suburbs.
I'm gonna hold this in until I do a
like-
podcast.
Yeah.
So you just carry those in loose bags then? No vials for you?
was
That's all I
crazy.
know about crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't crack's a rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
A little
then,
yellow rock looks like a kind of a coffee stained tooth.
yeah, is it just carried in a
I think
sandwich bag?
vials are preferred, but this guy just had a little bag. He was holding it. Yeah.
Can't dose it that way.
Yeah.
It's going to be all crumbles by the end of the day.
I think he was just passing it off to another kid. Like,
I'm going to use this as and we can stop talking about the topic at any moment,
Sure.
but I'm going to use this as a segue into the topic.
oh, wow. You
Yeah.
think this is a good segue?
This is actually a pretty good segue.
Okay, great.
Because we're talking about gunning down people
Mm-hmm.
and drugs. You have Andy, this is a guy that we joke about pretty often. You have a guess at who this might be?
Duterte?
Hell yeah.
Really?
We're talking about Rodrigo
boy.
Duterte
Wait, you
today.
switched it up.
Yeah, so I had a couple topics for you, Rene.
Yeah.
The first one was oswangs.
Okay.
And,
Yes.
but me and Andy went camping in the woods and
Yeah.
it had a spooky night together, so we figured we'd talk about
We had a
ghosts.
spooky
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
We had sex.
That's terrifying.
It's scary.
Especially the way that
Gay
you
is
guys
so
did
scary.
it.
We can also cut any of this out.
Okay,
It's
sure.
detrimental to your career. And then you were going to do who?
And then I was thinking about doing Jose Rizal,
Yeah.
but turns out he's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's super boring.
Yeah, when you told me, like, when you were like, oh, he just actually, like, wrote all the literature. He didn't actually do any fighting.
I thought he was like a military dude.
No, he was like the guy that had the ideas.
Yeah.
And then like.
That's like Jose
like-
Marti in
he's like-
Cuba.
Oh, okay.
He, like, was like, hey, everybody, we should be free. I'm, like, a nerd, so somebody else should do this. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. But yeah, Rodrigo Duterte, way more interesting than I thought he was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. Do you know,
Yeah.
how much do you know about him?
Very like I'll catch like stories from my parents and stuff like that, but I'm like not super into.
They live
like-
over there, right?
They do. They're back. They're 6 months a year now because they're so tired of pretending to be American.
Yeah.
They're tired of like trying to slow down the language and like hear things and stuff. And
But I would assume they lived in San Diego.
Since like the
There's a
late
big
70s.
community down there, right?
Oh, huge.
Were you born here?
Yeah, I was born in Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, and then my dad was in the Navy, and then they brought us out west, like when I was like
Big Chicago Pinoy crew too, right?
a lot of Filipinos there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
like
lived there for 2 years, and I met maybe 3.
they're probably
Really?
in another part of town.
You didn't?
Yeah. Well, I went to art school, and that's not really a thing that we do.
No, you're not going to find them in art school. You're going to find them in hospitals. Yeah.
At the
I-
post office.
Post
You know what's
office.
Odd though is I thought Seattle was the uniquely Filipino kind of like bastion. Seattle, San Francisco. I always thought that was like kind of
Uh-huh.
where Filipinos had migrated and set up shop.
Me too, actually.
And then we went up to Calgary and
Plenty of-
Alberta was full of Filipinos. I went to Italy and England and a bunch of countries around Europe
Yeah.
this last year. Totally Filipino. Like
Yeah.
there's a fucking Jollibee in the middle of London.
Yeah,
It's
that's what we
crazy.
do. And the biggest like export in the Philippines is human people, like
Yeah.
workers, right?
Yeah, every cruise ship is like half Filipino.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff Sheen, who's on cruise ships now, is like every week he gets back. He's like, I made a new Filipino friend. Yeah. She serves food.
Okay, so Duterte, what do I need to know about?
Nothing.
I've
I
got
was
Okay.
gonna
You
teach
don't need
us
to know
everything.
anything.
Okay,
But
okay,
What are your thoughts on him? You pro?
He's a scary guy. Scary guy. No, I'm not pro.
well, let's start with the cool things that he did do.
Okay.
Because he was, I mean, every person has ups and downs.
Sure. Not
yeah, of
everyone is.
course.
And so there were
Yeah.
some cool things that he did. So he was the mayor of Davao City. Wait, your parents live where in the Philippines?
Now they're in Makati, but my dad grew up in Pampanga. My mom my mom grew up in Pampanga. My dad in Batangas.
Where's that?
Uh,
North side?
think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can you speak Tagalog?
No, I can do an impression of my parents' accent.
Oh man, we've been waiting for this because Wilfred can't actually do.
I'm getting better because I've been listening to a lot of, this week I've been listening to a lot of Filipinos talk.
Yeah. Wait, why can't you do it?
It's just like, I'm just bad at accents in general.
Yeah, I know, but why can't you do your mom and dad?
What I can do is Manny Pacquiao singing Sometimes When We Touch.
That's great. Wait a minute. You skipped the thing that you're supposed to have. And then you went deep into an SNL like character reel.
Yeah, I'm doing this for Lauren later.
Okay, good. Okay.
But yeah,
I want to hear that later, by the way.
yeah.
Okay.
I've done it on this show a couple times.
Okay. Well,
times.
you haven't done it for me.
Yeah, all I can do is Joseph.
Sometimes when we touch,
Good.
Yeah,
the honesty's too much. He's a hilarious
Yeah.
singer.
Yeah.
I love his confidence. He's
Yeah.
a beautiful man.
So here are the cool things about
Doesn't
Guy.
celebrate Pride Month.
Duterte.
No.
Or
man.
Manny.
Nobody
Probably.
we're talking about. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. He as a mayor, he passed this Davao City's Women Development Code, which aimed to uphold the rights of women and the belief in their worth and dignity.
Whoa.
Also, he banned swimsuit competitions at beauty pageants that were held in Davao City.
Sounds like Southern Philippines.
That's
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah, so it is Southern. Davao City's the biggest city,
But he's Catholic. He's not.
Mindanao.
He's not Muslim.
not Catholic.
Really?
Yes,
Oh.
not
Protestant.
Catholic, and for like show.
Uh huh.
But he also, it's a very Muslim area.
Yeah.
So he said that he has like partial Islamic beliefs.
Oh
Wow.
So he's like very interesting because the Philippines is like 97% Catholic or something. I think it's like 89% now. To have a whole country back someone that does not believe in Catholicism
Yeah.
is huge.
He was elected because he's a populist, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he like preyed on their fear and
Absolutely.
yeah. But how was he able to do that without Catholicism? That's incredible.
I think he leans into it at
Well,
certain points.
I'll get
Yeah.
into that.
Okay.
as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
He also supported the first ever Gawad Kalinga village, which was a village that were your parents involved with Couples for Christ?
No.
Oh, my
Were
parents. Yeah, Couples for Christ is a huge like Catholic organization that also exists in the U.S. and it's like Filipino couples for the main guy,
Uh-huh.
Christ.
JC.
So it's just a prayer group that comes together. So Couples for Christ made these like villages, and the first one was inside a jail facility in Davao City, and it's a small village of cottages built inside the compound that serve as housing for female inmates.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Yeah.
pretty cool
Yeah.
thing. And then he also raised the economy. The Davao economy boomed. Crime went down, but murder raised.
Yeah.
He loves to kill.
He loves
Dude
to kill.
loves killing.
Yeah, he's a very like it's like black and white for him. It's like evil should be sought out and destroyed.
Yes.
Can we go back to the bathing suit thing and the like? What was his? Why did he do that? Like, what was he saying? Was it like
I think
like it was like conservative? Like, I don't want to see his skin, or was it like it's demeaning?
That
let's
I can't.
protect the
I
women?
don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the two. I don't know if it's like Islamic beliefs or
It probably
if
was
it's-
not chill with local Muslims. That was probably a big part of it.
Right.
But also, he probably, I don't know, because Catholics don't really seem to like have like huge modesty clauses.
But also like in the Philippines, like a Catholic in the Philippines, like
Because it's not like Italy. Like in Italy, you can be just like the most buxom babe and be like,
Yeah, yeah.
I love the Jesus.
right.
And in the Philippines, they're like, you're a nun. You
Yes.
should be a nun.
Yeah, but like beauty pageants in the Philippines are like huge.
Yeah.
And to like take out a integral category like that is like a massive cultural
Yes.
challenge.
We
and also,
followed-
we're in the Philippines. Like, people aren't wearing a lot of clothes.
I followed
humid zone.
I followed Miss Universe from the Philippines. I sent Wilfred the
Yes.
reel of her because she does a great
Filipino
accent. She's American Filipino. Like she's
and she represented the Philippines?
yeah, and
Yeah.
then she's like funny.
Oh, she does voices. She does Filipino voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
she's
she's
the,
like-
That's funny,
she's the
man.
Uncle Roger of
Yeah, she's the
Philippines.
Uncle Roger
That's
of the
funny.
Philippines. Yeah.
She I think most beauty queens or Miss Universes are from the Philippines.
The most ever.
Wait,
think-
say that again?
I think the most the country that's won the most
Miss Universes? Is that right?
That would make sense. I mean, it's a
I'm in for
beautiful,
that.
beautiful country.
I might be making it up.
No, I mean, I would want that to be true because we put so much like of our resources in that. Like it would be a bummer to be runners up. You know what I mean? Like we really rep hard. Like my sister was in beauty pageants.
You guys are like
Oh, really?
the
Yeah.
Coney Island of beauty pageants.
I don't know what that. I've never.
That's Coney Island's like famous for producing basketball stars.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
right?
Yeah, like
Okay.
Stefan Marbury is the only one I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I think Grant Hill's from Oakland.
Yeah.
There's a couple other people.
Probably Kenny Anderson.
I think Vince might be from there too.
Okay.
I don't know.
The
So-
New York point guard.
Okay, so for the listeners who don't know who Rodrigo Duterte is,
Yeah.
he's the 16th president of the Philippines, was president from 2016 to 2022. He's also the first president from Mindanao and the oldest president to serve ever because he was 71 when he started.
Damn.
He's the same age as Trump.
He looks great.
Looks great. I'm
Yeah.
sure he dyes
He
his
does. Yeah, he does look great.
Yeah.
hair.
I would love to have that kind of complexion, stature,
Yeah.
swag.
The humidity.
Dude, his swag is wild.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. What is he like?
So there's one. I was watching this documentary. There's a couple really cool documentaries. One was called "Death by a Thousand Cuts," and he was campaigning for this guy who was running for senator, and he was saying like the people who are running against us, they're saying that I have he has Barrett's esophagus, which is some sort of sickness, and they're like, yeah, they're saying I'm sick, but have them. But let me borrow their wives, and we'll see how sick I am.
Hell yeah.
And then he,
This guy fucks.
Right.
yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm like this.
Yeah.
And then you put the mic like that.
Oh, yeah,
to
straight
show-
up.
Yeah, to show how hard
Wow.
he gets.
Hell yeah.
wow. And then like everyone laughed, and then he was like, "But let me borrow their wives."
Yeah.
So- and then
Prima nocta.
He
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
this is another funny thing that he also called John Kerry gay
Yeah.
and a son of a bitch.
Wait, was it John Kerry? I know he also called Obama some stuff too.
He called Obama a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Putang ina mo.
because of the classic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a home run. Is that because the John Kerry thing about like environmentalism?
I
or-
don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I think John Kerry came through and then
John
they
Kerry was
just-
Secretary of State
just-
during Obama. So
I'm
he
just so
would've-
curious about like what his POV is. Like what's soft for him? Is he like a machismo guy? Is he like a conservative, like religious conservative guy?
So
like,
he before he he was all about like getting rid of crime. I
Yeah.
think he
Did he go mayor of Davao City and then governor of Mindanao, or did he go straight from Davao
just
City?
from mayor to he was
President.
mayor for you're only supposed to be mayor for 3 terms, consecutive terms.
Uh-huh.
So he was mayor for 3 terms, then became like a part of Congress,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and then went to mayor again for another 3 terms.
Damn.
So he was mayor for 22 years.
That's
My man
wild.
loves to
He
to
loves
mayor.
being a mayor.
My-
His daughter was the mayor after him. He became vice mayor to his daughter,
Sick.
and then now his daughter's vice president.
My
Under Bongbong? Wow.
hilarious.
We're talking about Bongbong a lot on this pod.
It's so fun. I just love that you're like casually under Bongbong. God damn. Okay, Bongbong.
Because there's been a couple attempts at covering Filipino stuff on here. When we've done 2 whole episodes just on the Philippines, and the Power Broker. What is the doc called with Imelda? The Kingmaker.
The Kingmaker.
Yeah, we brought that up
Yeah.
a couple times. Imelda has come up.
I was gonna say, my best friend from childhood, he lived in the Philippines to go to med school for a little while, and he lived with family. And his uncle, who he lived with, was the mayor of Carmona, which is a town in the Philippines, a province. And then I stayed with him for like a week, and that was wild. They would constantly be traveling with like machine gun carrying guards.
Damn.
Yeah.
If we took his truck out to go whatever to a bar or whatever, they would be following us, and because it was the idea that I would get kidnapped or he would get kidnapped was always a threat
Yeah.
because we were associated.
How many
be
times
like-
have you been to the Philippines?
3 times.
How's that flight?
Oh, brutal. I mean, I've only gone without money, so I went the cheapest way possible.
Yeah.
So that was the longest flight I ever took. I took like a Tylenol PM, and then woke up and there was like 11 hours left.
Dude, every time I take a flight, I'm
Yeah.
as we're taxiing, I'll fall asleep,
Yeah.
and then I'll be asleep throughout the entire ascension. Then once we hit altitude, I wake up and I'm awake for the entire fucking flight. It sucks.
It's brutal, and it's like smaller than Southwest flights. It's like, or the seats, you know what I mean? Like,
Really?
Oh, what I
it's
did.
awful.
Oh God.
Damn, dude, that's brutal.
Yeah,
I'm a
and
bad flyer.
everyone's
in
like,
first.
We gotta eat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not gonna eat for 8 hours.
God damn. I would be like my anxiety just went up thinking about that.
Yeah.
And it's an inevitability for us because
We're gonna go.
We've said on our Wilfred's never been to the Philippines.
Yeah.
His parents have been back a couple times.
They've been back maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
They were illegal for a long time.
For a long
Oh,
period of
really?
time. Yeah.
Wow. And you were born
Here.
here. Okay.
Yeah.
But him and his sister are the only ones that are American born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody else was.
Like
everyone
who?
else-
What do you mean? Who's everybody else? Like
I have
cousins?
3
and
older
stuff?
brothers, all my
Oh,
cousins.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone was born in the Philippines.
How did they naturalize? Is that a long story?
So they like applied for their green cards
Yeah.
in 1975.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a lottery system or something.
So they were like last in the door.
yeah.
Because
So-
like right after that, like that's when it started getting really hard, right? Like in the 80s.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then so they applied in 1975, and then they got a visitor's visa,
Yeah.
and then they flew here on the visitor's visa, and was just like, let's just go. We'll go for 6 months. And then they stayed.
Yeah.
Like the visitor's visa, I think it was 6
And
months
also
back then.
they needed to go, right? They were like in a little bit of trouble with the Marcos.
They weren't in trouble with the Marcos regime. It's just that my grandpa he had gotten in trouble a little bit. Like
Yeah.
they took it. He had a whole wall of guns. I don't know all of this story, but he had a whole wall of guns. And then the like regime, people came in, took his guns. Like,
You have like a rebel leader in your family?
no, I think I have a like Trump supporter,
Redneck.
yeah.
Great.
So, but the reason why they left was like, my mom's family was already here. My uncle was in the Navy.
Yeah.
That's how most of us get here.
Yep.
My mom's parents were already here. Everyone was here except for my dad's side of the family, who they didn't seem to get along with that well.
Yeah.
And then all of their prayer group friends were like, we're going to go to America. So
Mhm.
they kind of had no one left in the Philippines to be around.
Yeah.
So they left in, I think, 83, which was like right before.
Yeah.
Also, the big thing was everyone was like, I don't want to have to deal with Marcos. He's been in power for
yeah.
20 something years. Like, it's getting bad.
Yeah.
But if they had waited it out, we would have just been rich in the Philippines.
Nice.
Oh man.
This podcast wouldn't happen though, and then it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be poor hoping for advertising.
Yeah. But when we launch our Patreon, one of our top goals when we get to like the 5K mark will be we're going to repatriate Wilfred. I'm going to take him home to his homeland.
I want to come.
All right.
Yeah, come.
Great.
I want to come.
You'll be a guest on that.
I'm going to be
Okay.
wrapped in
Special.
a Filipino flag.
Yeah. Fantastic.
We're actually going to have him grow his hair out and go ponytail for that period, and he's going to start casually using the N-word again. So
Oh, again. Great.
Yeah.
he's going to get back into that
Yeah,
phase.
don't
of his
say the N-word
Filipino-ness.
without a ponytail.
You have to. It's funny because I've known Rene for, I don't know, about 10 years now, a little bit more. But I've always known Rene to be very like collegial and like kind of politically correct, kind of, like
I try to do the right thing.
yeah, you do the right thing.
Yeah.
But then at your wedding, I met some of your like old school San Diego friends, and they were like a little bit more ponytail style. It was
I got a lot of ponytails in my past.
it was
a lot of my
fun.
friends showed up to my wedding smelling like weed with long ponytails.
Oh yeah, there was one that was yelling. Do you remember that? Your buddy was like shouting at you while you were doing your vows.
Was he really?
Yeah, there was like
I
one
was so
dude that
locked
was
in this
like, I don't know what your nickname was, but he was like yelling your nickname.
Dude, yeah, what's your nickname in your family?
I got a couple. My family nickname is JR because my dad's name is Rene. But I was also born on December 30th, Jose Rizalian Day, which is the death anniversary of Jose Rizal.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Jose and JR.
JR, Jose. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So JR.
JR.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Jose Rizal. Yeah,
Yeah, I think somebody yelled like,
JR.
JR, you get him, boy.
Get him.
Yeah, you know?
That's awesome.
I don't know what you asked me a question about. Oh, what is like beliefs?
Yeah. Like, what kind of? Give me a shape of like. Is it like? Give me a comp to like.
Duterte?
Yeah.
Are we back on Duterte?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's kind of complicated because as a mayor, he wanted to reduce crime. He was running on that, and there are rumors that Cambridge Analytica worked with him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that is?
No.
So Cambridge Analytica is the company that had like the huge Facebook leak.
They data farmed like all
Okay.
of Facebook accounts.
Okay.
Yes. So they used the Philippines as a guinea pig for what eventually happened here during Trump's election.
Yeah.
So
So he had the blueprint. Like.
he had the blueprint.
yeah.
He had the sense of like what people wanted, and Cambridge Analytica had told him, "You should be this." So he has a nickname, Duterte Harry. You should be this dirty Harry type guy. So he like ended up like he's swears a lot.
Yeah.
Calls every politician gay. Called the Pope Francis a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like he's just
You went after the Pope?
yeah, for
Yeah.
causing a traffic issue.
This guy is, wow, that's brave. To
Yeah.
go up against the Pope is
So-
very brave.
Yeah.
Part of his like not liking Catholics is he claims that he was molested by a Jesuit priest.
Not a far-fetched claim.
Yeah.
I'll throw that one up.
So
pretty
I was
easily.
listening to this podcast, and they were like, "Yeah, it's I don't know, like no one seems to believe anything because they want to shade
Right.
him as not a full person,
Right.
just a bad guy, which is for the most part all the information that I got.
Yeah.
But he he was
But
probably
there's like a
molested.
little bit of like a progressiveness to be able to be like, I got molested, and this
also
is a bad
to
thing.
be like
Yeah.
women should be like respected
Yeah.
and things like that.
That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, it's so strange. It's hard to just be like, this guy's bad.
Yeah.
I think,
So when did the death squad start happening? Like, is he killing people in Davao City already?
so the death squad stuff happened while he was mayor,
Mm-hmm.
and he claims that he has nothing to do with it because it's a pretty bad thing to be associated with.
Yeah.
But it's pretty obvious that there was a connection. Because the UN was like, that's an issue in the Philippines. We should probably deal with that. And he never said anything bad about him. Was actually like, these guys are pretty cool for killing all the criminals.
Yeah.
So there's one time he like went on local news. He had a list of 500. He read a list of 500 people on his watch list, and he was like, "I will give you a cash reward if you kill these people."
Great.
And then
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, also just like think about like the broadcast of somebody reading 500 names.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
so
long-
long.
Like
It's
that's a long,
long
intense
broadcast.
time.
And what are you doing? Writing down the names?
Yeah,
right
you're
next
like, okay, how did he?
Yeah,
Sorry,
shit, I got to get a
you
typewriter.
do every other one and
Funny
all.
if he said, if he goes, did I say that already?
Yeah. Sorry, is this? I can't. I'm gonna mess this one up. Gary.
Anyways, he's on the death squad.
Yeah.
You guys probably know
Get
him.
him.
Yeah. But what's interesting is that, so he read off 500 names. By the time he had read off the 500 names, 4 were already killed.
What? I mean, again, long broadcast, 500 names. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in the A's,
You're fucked.
you better run.
And then before the article even came out, the 17 were killed.
Wow.
Damn.
So I think there's a total of like 23 or 24 killed in the first 3 weeks.
Right.
How much was the prize?
I don't know.
Because I heard that was a big thing during his kind of like, you remember that a lot of media attention got put on the graveyard in Manila where all the people lived. Do you know about this?
Mm-mm.
It's like probably around a little before Duterte came to power. There's a giant graveyard in Manila, and people were so broke that the only thing they owned was their grave plots. So people started living in the graveyard.
Wow.
Oh.
But there was a thing in that I heard where it was like basically like $20 you can get somebody killed just because, you know, the economy was so bad that
Yeah.
you could just be like, yeah, here's $20. Will you kill this guy?
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing that the reward didn't have to be too.
Right.
The
Too
reward
pricey.
was actually pretty good. I heard that he was paying like $2,000 a week, depending on how active
Wow.
you were.
Jesus.
So up to $2,000.
So he was
a week.
basically financing a death squad.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
absolutely.
Like, what's the delivery? How are those bodies? Like, is it like a picture and like you're like you got a deer? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
or like how do you deliver in a
Exactly what
bag?
it's
or-
like.
Yeah, you ride a deer over to the.
No, he's talking about like when you kill a deer.
You know, when their hunters are like,
Oh,
you know, like is that
So
how you get paid?
in one of the documentaries that I watched, I saw someone get killed.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
There was a guy who like he's just a drug user.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
He hates meth. Duterte hates meth.
And that's kind of the drug of choice there.
Yeah, I think it was like in the 80s it started to become a real issue.
Yeah.
It wasn't an issue at all. Like there was really no, like I think cocaine was coming through the Philippines from China.
A
or
lot of
something.
heroin too, I
Yeah.
think, coming
Yeah.
from the,
But
But
they,
cocaine's expensive, and
but no one really cared about that. It wasn't until meth hit the Philippines that
yeah.
there
So
became a
weird.
drug issue.
Meth is like the drug of choice in all of Southeast Asia and also the Pacific.
Really?
Yeah, it's the biggest drug in Hawaii. Like I guess apparently
Oh,
Honolulu,
really?
like it is just meth heads.
What is meth? What does it do to you?
crack-ish? It's Adderall, same like kind of chemical components.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you get an Adderall subscription, it's usually called amphetamine salts. It's
Yeah.
like what it says on the bottle.
So it's like I got great ideas. I want to go. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
I finished this essay in no
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's what everybody was doing in Davao City.
Yeah. They're writing essays.
They're organizing their house,
Yeah.
writing essays,
Dissertations.
doing homeworks.
Yeah.
God, we gotta get this meth out of the provinces. Everyone's getting a
Yeah.
graduate degree.
The economy's going so well.
I wonder. It's also. I mean, this is kind of a cynical take, but there's so many customer service centers.
Yeah.
That meth seems to go hand in hand with probably somebody having to work in an office.
The long
full of-
hours.
yeah, you got to work 16 hours just answering phones. Meth would be great for that.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. You
Just because it keeps you awake?
keeps you awake, and you just dial in on whatever's in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're just like, what's that? You want to talk about airplanes?
I guess that's
got
true.
You.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to make a polo for J. Crew.
Yeah.
Meth.
Do a little meth. Not me though. I took Adderall once and I took a nap.
I've actually
I
had
think
the
that-
same issue.
Yeah. I was
think
like,
that
I'm gonna get a
means-
bunch of pages.
I think that
written
means
today, and I
we
did
have like
nothing.
ADD or ADHD.
Yeah.
Is that what that
I think
means?
that's what
Yeah.
it means, yeah. I don't think anybody that's listening to this podcast would disagree with us having
That's
ADHD.
incredible.
Yeah,
So I gotta
absolutely.
I gotta get that looked at. I gotta get my
Really, yeah.
whole
You got to
brain
get
looked
some
at.
Adderall. dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the right Adderall.
No, but I was given Adderall. I took it maybe twice. The first
Yeah.
time I took it, took such a small dose that
Yeah.
I think I was just like, this is making me kind of tired.
Yeah.
And then the second time, it was like for maybe 30 minutes, I was like, whoa, I'm really seeing the world too much.
Cool. In a cool way? Scary way.
You guys ever worn glasses?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So the first time you get your prescription,
Crispy.
do you remember that? And it's
Yeah,
like, and you're like, I didn't think the world was like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's what it felt like.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's a great time.
Yeah.
And then
I took a nap.
yeah.
I a lot of times will drink a cup of coffee before I take a nap because it takes you like at 30 to an hour to
That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
metabolize it.
Yeah,
so
and
then
you wake up and you're like,
let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a real power nap.
Yeah. That's a little bit like meth.
It's methy.
Yeah.
My relationship with coffee.
I don't know. What did I just say? I hopped around.
Devout
too much.
City. He's like killing people. He's giving
Yeah.
rewards. When does it become? What's his presidential run like?
So in 2016, he runs for president.
Is he a celebrity already in the Philippines?
That I don't know. I just know that he runs as a populist.
Right.
He gets this Cambridge Analytica info,
Yeah.
and then he is like, I'm gonna start. He runs on the platform that he's going to kill criminals,
Great.
Yeah.
and Filipinos are down with that.
Yeah. They want something to happen.
So interesting to watch. Like, first of all, I was listening to all these things about like how the Philippines got started. You know, Spain, and then the Spanish-American War was happening.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you this about the Spanish-American War? There was the Battle of Manila, which wasn't a real battle. It was so Spain did not want to lose to the Philippines, so they were like, okay, we'll lose to America.
Right.
So they set up this fake battle where no Filipinos were allowed to be there, and so it was. I don't know if they actually fought at all, but they claimed that there's a battle. Spain lost, and then the Philippines America bought the Philippines for like $20 million.
It's so crazy our relationship with like colonialism. Like you can't believe like some of the stuff that happens. Where it's like back in the day, if it was like brown people, we were like, yeah, we own this. Sorry, we came. But if it was another white country, we're like, we got to give them $20 million.
Yeah. And so
100%.
they built all these churches. We got to
Yeah.
can't leave empty-handed.
Yeah.
yeah, so the Americas was like in charge for a little bit. I don't know how I got to this or why I was talking about this.
It was like Duterte's presidential run, and then
I don't know. But anyways,
we need Adderall.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, get a
I feel like I've just been laying down since
Camping.
we went camping. Me and Andy went camping in
I
New
heard,
Hampshire.
yeah.
And I've just been sleeping and watching shit about Duterte. And then I watched all of MILF Manor.
Mm-hmm.
Is that show good? Should I watch that?
It's actually, I watched all of it. I hate reality TV.
Yeah, same.
But I watched all of it.
Yeah.
My wife is only watching reality TV. She's watching it nonstop. It's always on in our house, and it's kind of driving me crazy.
Have you watched MILF Manor?
No, I'm sure it's on the queue. We've watched all of the Real Housewives of New York, all of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We've dabbled in Atlanta, Potomac, and I think Salt Lake City is kind of gonna. I actually want to see Salt Lake City because it's like supposedly crazy. There's like a crime that happens halfway through the season, and like 2 of the wives get arrested. But she's been on Below Deck for about 3 weeks now. I've watched almost all of Below Deck, and it's just non-stop talking heads. It's really insane.
Yeah. That's like a class show, right? Like rich people work and poor people kind of a thing. Below
To
Deck?
some extent,
Yeah.
it's that, but it's really like there's nothing admirable about any of the crew. They're all kind of just making a lot of money. They're making good money.
Oh, are
and
they? Okay.
They're working hard, but it's like they're just like they're fucking and kind of
yeah.
fighting, and the second that the charter guests are gone, they're just like it's on.
They get to do their thing. And
Yeah.
Mm.
I always want I try to like you said about how like there's Filipinos all over like cruise ships and stuff. I was like, I want to see like that show.
Yeah.
And I've tried a couple times, and every producer's been like, everyone hates that idea. I'm
Like a
wow.
Filipino reality
Yeah,
show?
like not a reality show, but like a scripted like workplace comedy about like Filipinos that like party on the bottom floor of a boat like every night, and then like every morning. They have to like
A cruise ship show though would be good.
That's what I thought. Like a cool Love Boat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but nobody
Really?
wants
No
it.
one wants it?
Nobody wants it.
I don't know if this is too much. I have a Nigerian buddy who sold a TV show about Nigerian people, and Nigerians and Filipinos are pretty much the same thing.
Our buddy sold a show about Nigerian people too. You worked on him with, I think. Did you work on him?
You talking about Dio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
Oh, how do you know Dio?
He was in one of whatever, that Young and Hungry room,
Yeah.
and I
Dude,
came in
he's one of the
and
best
punched
joke
up.
writers I've ever
Yeah, he's great.
worked with.
Yeah, he was a super nice guy.
Yeah.
But I think he had shown me kind of like a trailer for like a Chicago-based like everybody hates Chris kind of show about growing up Nigerian.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's so weird what you like. I am very naive about TV, but also pessimistic, and I always go like, I have an idea, and then somebody goes, "That's a bad idea," and I go,
Yeah.
"But look at how much stuff is bad."
Yeah.
Why can't you just do mine and I'll show you it'll be a little bit better?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're like guaranteed. Like everybody's like, "No, this is
Yeah.
not a show," and you're like, "But you'd made that show,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you thought that was good."
Yeah.
But I mean, them not wanting your show makes it like I've just always had this idea that they don't want Filipino shit. They don't want Asian stuff that bad.
No,
Unless it's gay and Asian,
Right.
or Asian women.
Or like an Asian that like they feel like is like in the fabric of like, you know what I mean? Like
How
maybe
did
Filipinos
Easter-
are a little too niche or
How
something.
did
Or
Easter
like
Sunday do box office wise?
Horrible.
not
Really?
well.
Horrible.
Yeah.
They I think it was like 4 million.
Shout out Brandon Wardell. Sorry, sorry,
Oh, boy.
buddy.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean the movie was awful.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
Um,
That's what I heard. I
Brandon
couldn't get there.
Brandon would be on Close Friends just talking shit about the movie while he was filming it.
Oh,
He'd have a picture and it would be like Joe Coy like yelling at somebody, and he'd
Yeah.
be like, "Another day, very grateful to be on the set of Easter Sunday."
Oh, I'm gonna send him a message, try to get on that Close Friends.
Oh yeah,
Get in
you
that
should be
green
in that
circle.
Close Friends.
Yeah, but yeah, it was bad. I mean, I had this whole conversation with this guy he's like a philanthropist that
Yeah.
funds Asian art projects in New York, and I was talking about Easter Sunday, and I was just
Yeah.
like, this is boring.
Yeah.
Like, and I a lot of the Filipino or Asian art that is being produced feels so
It's always northern. It feels like
What do you
What
mean
do
by
you
that?
Korean, Japanese, Chinese.
Yeah.
like that is
Well-
kind of the stomach we have for.
Yeah.
and I guess what
Yeah.
the Asian American art that's being produced is like so like one voice.
Yeah.
It does not feel unique to me at all. Like I'm just hearing another woke Asian talk
Yeah.
about how like awful racism is or whatever. Like it's not. There's no depth to it. And so
Yeah.
I was talking with this guy and I was just like, I'd love to hear more voices.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, what's more important is that we support what's already out.
Yeah.
I was like, why? It's all mediocre.
Yeah.
I don't want to support
I mean,
bad art.
I agree. I find that like what people have, the frustrating thing about the past like 4 years of my career where like I should be like selling shows and doing the thing is like I feel like the thing that people want me to write is like I'm Filipino and my white wife can't get along with my Filipino parents, and it becomes that like
Good show idea.
it's pretty funny though.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I should probably get down on that.
Actually, I think I've seen them buy 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like it feels like then you then have to write a show that feels like educational. That's like, you know, like when I watch like, and I don't want to talk too much shit about Easter Sunday because like, you know, I know a lot of really good people involved in it, but like, you know, it's like if ever there's a line in your script that's like, hey, to Filipinos, this is this and this and this. It's like,
Yeah.
get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Because you're then going like the whole project is about justifying Filipinos' existence as opposed to just like doing the thing. You know
I
what
think,
Yeah.
but I think there's a bigger problem there, which is that Filipinos are not seen the same way that other Asian Americans are seen, in a sense that like, because we see, you know, even though like Chinatowns are not like places of like, you know, like American assimilation, and you know, there's like still definitely like poverty within Asian communities. We see Chinese doctors. We see Korean accountants. We see Japanese people are just millionaire
Geishas.
fashion people to us.
Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially the ones that are American, whatever, like second generation, third generation.
Yeah.
Filipinos, I think, are like exotic and undefinable because first of all, we don't eat Filipino food.
No.
We like don't have any relationship. Every time, and I'm pretty adventurous with my food. If I went to Eagle Rock and I went to like one of those like lunch places with the kind of
point joint?
cafeteria,
Yeah.
I was like, I have no idea what this even is.
Yeah.
I can see pieces of meat and it looks curryish. I'm afraid to eat any of it as a vegetarian.
You're not gonna have a great experience as a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they actually was like a little wave in New York of like high end Filipino food.
Yeah, but it was all very Americanized.
Yeah.
It would be like, I'm sure this happens in LA all the time where it's like a fusion type thing, and then you lose the soul of the food.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't at all taste like what I grew up with.
What's his name did a pretty good job with it in Seattle. Blue Scholar guy.
Gio?
Yeah, Gio like kind of kept it real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did like a pop-up Filipino restaurant.
There's a spot in Chicago, Kasama, that's incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I met those guys.
Yeah, it's
They're
incredible.
cool.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part about being a quasi-celebrity, by the way. Like, none of us are celebrities. You would be the closest to a celebrity.
I don't
on
think
here.
so.
Well, you've been on TV a bunch.
Okay, I'm the celebrity in this room.
You are the celebrity. You're the guest.
And actually, no, go ahead. You finish.
But I don't want to be recognized, really. I don't want to, be in, like, a publication. But when somebody who, like, does something cool reaches out to me, and they're like, hey, we like what you do.
Yeah.
Like a restaurant or a store or something. That's when I'm like, this was worth it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to say it is because we've never met before.
Yeah, we've DM'd.
Uh-huh.
We've created a positive connection.
Yes. And then I think a part of our connection, not just being friends with Andy, is the fact that we're Filipino.
100%.
And when I see your name, like I was a fan of Superstore before you, like,
I did the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as when I saw that you were involved, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And like you do projects that I want to support.
Yeah.
Not only because I like admire you from a distance.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Turn it down a little
I
bit.
honestly.
Jesus
I'm the
Christ.
celebrity in the room. Let him do it.
Yeah, let him do it.
Once I said admire, I was like, ew, gross. But the fact that I respect you from a distance, but also it's that like you're doing cool shit.
Thanks.
Like The Bear is a cool show. It's
Thanks.
a very good show.
It's like the coolest thing I've ever been a part of.
And
It's rad.
I don't think that we get a lot of. You guys don't get a lot of representation in cool spaces. It's like the only cool thing you guys are allowed to do is be DJs or sneakerheads.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I think Wilfred's doing pretty cool stuff. I mean, like
This is new though.
like that's the point. Like I think the next thing that we have to do is just like be, you know what I mean? Like
Yes, that's
as
what I'm
opposed to
trying to get at.
explain what we are, like just be the thing.
I think that the show is definitely like if I'm pitching you on a show, if you give me like what's that called, a bake sale,
Yeah.
and you're like, I want you to write that. It's like being a Filipino American living in Daly City and just normal life, but it's a Filipino lens.
Yeah.
Because that's so much more interesting to me than like
Right.
my white wife doesn't understand how to cook adobo.
And I think that version of the show is probably not like a multicam on, you know what I mean? Like it's probably 8 episodes on Hulu or whatever.
It's definitely not on broadcast TV.
Yeah.
It's on a cable show.
Yeah.
And it's also probably like great and then does not get watched because Americans are like, what is a Filipino?
Yeah.
I have noticed that Filipino is still a punchline, which I don't. What do I care?
Yeah.
But it's like it is a funny sounding word, so it's still
It is funny sounding word.
is used like in punchlines for like stand up comics or whatever. But I've also wanted what you were saying earlier. Is I remember Tyler the Creator said something along the lines of like he wants to just like he doesn't want to contribute to the monolith of black people.
Yeah.
He wants to show that black people can be different and interesting and like doesn't have to talk about being black. And that's like what I want to do as a comedian.
That's what you do. That's for sure what you do. I think that's why I think you're so funny.
And
This
and
is
then
like getting really.
I mean, I just
out the
I
white
know it's really
guys.
gross. You got to step out for a second.
Yeah.
But I just want to say like I think that like this like when I see like a young Filipino comedian that is like going out there and speaking about their experience and not just like getting laughs on how funny their parents' accent is. It's like so exciting because I'm 43 years old. When I was like coming into comedy in my 20s, there was none of that.
Did you have a no accent policy? With roles?
I did.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
didn't.
A big step for people.
I lost a lot of opportunities because of it.
Yeah. That's like I was just reading an article about. Is it Arian Muad, the guy who plays Stewie on Succession? And he just made a decision in like 2004, 2006. He was like, no more terrorists. And that just didn't work for 6 years.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I also want to say that like the accent's really funny.
It's hilarious.
Do you know what I mean?
Accent.
And like it's a bummer that like I felt like I had to be put in a position to be like no accents. You know what I mean? Because like it is a part of me and it is like how I see the world. And it's fucking funny, but like I felt like it was like that dude's laughing at the wrong thing, and I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah,
You know
that's what
I mean?
you're talking about. Like earlier, what you said was like a good description of it, which is that's a joke for him and not for both of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's stop being gay.
All right, here we go.
Sorry
man, I
about
knew
that.
my episode was gonna be way more serious.
No, it's. I'm so prone to sincerity and earnestness.
I
It's
like it too.
It's just like it's what I want to operate under, but these hungry beasts out there, they just want us to say exactly what I just said.
Things are gay. Things are the R word.
Yeah. We've been actually told that we can't use the R word anymore.
Can I tell a quick story about R words and stuff?
Yeah.
I got a 6-year-old, and like 2 nights ago, I was putting her to bed, and like I was like, we were doing bits or whatever. I was like, sucker, and she was like, ooh, that's the S word, and I was like, oh, okay, you've probably been told that's the S word, and we talked about what it means or whatever, and she's like, yeah. And I was like, maybe don't use it if people think it's bullying or whatever. Don't use it. And she's like, cool. What's the B word? And I was like, well, no, let's not talk about that. We will have that conversation, but like, I don't know if that's something we need to handle right now. Maybe you're a little too young. She's like, great. What's the N word? And I was like, oh, fuck. And so I like...
Rene shuts the door.
I'm like, night, babe. So she goes, what's the N word? And I'm like, okay. So we talk a little bit about racism, like vaguely. I don't like mention like white, black, or anything. Just like the idea that people are organized by groups. And the N word is something that is like used to like put certain groups down, and we don't need to know what it is right now. We'll get to it, right? She's like, got it. And I was like, how did you...
This is a cool kid.
She's a very smart kid. And I was like, where did you hear the phrase the N word? She's like, I've never heard it before. And I was like, where'd you hear the phrase the B
In her
word?
heart to say those things.
Yeah, I was like, where'd you get the B word? She's like, I was just picking letters. And you walked me into like the most intense conversation at like 9:30 in the evening.
That's awesome. Is there a effort to like let her know she's Filipino?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure. Like I try to get her around Filipinos as often as possible. Like some friends from college.
You're faking illnesses.
Yeah. I don't fake illnesses. I give her a little bit of poison so she remains a little sick.
We have to go see your auntie.
We get around there. It's tough though because she's like, it's like all the fun shit she sees on TV is white stuff. So it's like, oh, I'd rather go to whatever.
Largest population of Filipinos on the East Coast, 20 miles from you.
Where's that?
Jersey City.
Really?
Yeah.
They have like a Manila street.
Yeah.
And everything.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have like
why
Filipino
are they
bakeries
there?
and stuff. I'm guessing to work in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jersey City. Okay.
Because we were originally, I'm always, hyping Filipino stuff to Wilfred. Sometimes racist.
That must feel nice for you.
Yeah.
Andy explaining
But
Filipino
I'll
culture.
send him. Anytime I see a Jollibee, it's getting sent to
Oh,
Wilfred.
good. Hey,
Yeah.
check it out. New one.
Yeah.
Oh, same one you saw before.
Hey, what's this sweet spaghetti stuff about?
I will say another. I don't not to go down another sincere route,
Go for it.
but it's. I've always every single person that's half Asian that I meet is so annoyingly loud about their Asian half.
Right.
And
That's the part that makes them interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that it's partially because of the time that we're in.
Yeah.
But I'm also assuming that it's because they weren't raised Asian enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think
For sure.
it is important to be like, you are Filipino, and when you grow up, you don't have to prove it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
because I think it comes from like a dearth of Asian community around you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think like if you are an Asian person in a lot of white spaces, I think like all of a sudden it's like, oh, like I really got to step up for this because like I feel alien, I feel different, I feel
Yeah.
like a disconnect between my culture.
Yeah.
And then if you're like you, where you like grew up in all Filipino house with a lot of Filipino friends and you went to Catholic schools your whole life, it's kind of like, yeah, we're fine. You know?
Yeah.
My parents are assholes and whatever, but like we're not like second class citizens and things like that. But you know, because I've never heard you advocate on behalf of your Filipino-ness.
Well,
You
it's
always
not
like
that I
take the
don't-
L. You always just
Yeah.
like, it's fine. We're fine.
It's fine.
No,
yeah.
no, but he's always like Wilfred like will be like invited to some like Asian American comedy festival or something like that, and he's like, these fucking losers are crying about.
Andy, don't put him on.
No,
your
I think
podcast.
he
that's
wants
true.
people to know this.
I do.
Alright.
I mean, we just talked about it with Ashley Gavin,
Yeah.
where it's like very important for me to be like, I'm not Filipino first.
Right.
I happen to be Filipino,
Yeah.
but I'm like,
You're who
know,
you are first.
I'm all these other things
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
And,
That's just a part of the thing. Yeah.
and I also like with not having to advocate for Filipinos, I don't like. Yes, I think that we do get treated like second class citizens, and it's not talked about enough, especially like Asian men.
Yeah.
That there's absolutely no voice for that.
Yeah.
And
Steve UN, the only one.
yeah, but
Simu Lee.
I also think
Ronnie.
that it's
Okay, actually, never mind. You're fine. I thought of 3. You're good.
Yeah.
but I think what's bigger than that, than like talking about how we're second class citizens, is just showing that I'm not.
Yeah.
Right.
Show like is
Right.
being a person that's bigger than
Yeah. Yeah.
like what the stereotype that they assumed.
Yeah. For sure. That's why I like your comedy, dude.
Yeah.
You fucking control the joke. You know what I mean?
You got to start doing your mom though, dude. If
You got to
ever
do your
wanna-
mom.
Yeah.
Well, Andy did tell me, like my parents never taught me Tagalog.
Yeah. Same.
Oh, this is. I thought this was really funny. Is that his parents never? I'll let you tell.
No,
the
no,
story.
go ahead. No,
No, tell the story.
No, because
Tell
you.
the story about his childhood.
Well, no. He was telling me the other day. This was so funny to me. He never told me this, and it occurred to me. I was like, wait, I know you don't speak Tagalog, and I was like, but everybody above you speaks like older than you. Like
Yeah, yeah.
all your brothers and sisters above you and
Right.
your family
'Cause they were
speak
born
Tagalog.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, and also got raised in a Tagalog speaking house, right?
Right.
And then I was like, but did they speak Tagalog around you? And he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, did they explain? And he was like, no.
Yeah.
And so I was like, so they would just talk shit about you probably in Tagalog and you never knew? And he was like,
No, yeah, that happened, but I'll also tell you what happened, because there was a choice that they made, because language when you're young is like picked up, like is absorbed or whatever. So there'd be moments, and maybe you can identify with this. There'd be moments where I was like, I kind of know what that means, and I would clarify, be like, hey, did you want me to get the shoes from the other room?
Yeah.
Or whatever, and they would,
That
instead
is
of
such a Filipino thing
Yeah.
too. Is like the youngest kid has to go get the
go
shoes
get the
from
thing.
other room.
Yeah. Go get the thing. And then, but like instead of clarifying for me in Tagalog and affirming what I learned or what I thought was being said, they would go into English and be like, you know, or whatever. So
Yeah.
like they every moment when I had an opportunity to be like, and then that happened enough times where I was like, oh, I'm not learning. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And it was never a conversation. We never sat down and be like, you know what? I think it would be better for you and your college applications if you only spoke English. It was never like spoken. It was
Yeah.
just happened.
well, I also think like that is one thing that separates a lot of Asian cultures is like,
Yeah.
because the Korean and the Chinese and the Japanese parent stereotypically, this is me like gleaning mass knowledge or like mass whatever, like
Broad strokes.
broad strokes,
Yeah.
is that parent is like, this is what you do. And
Yeah.
also an affirmation of your culture and your language. Like I knew Korean kids who were adopted that were taught about their Koreanness. Like literally there was like centers set up
Yeah.
to be like, this is Korean culture because
Yeah.
you're raised in this white
They go to
space.
Korea. It's called Korean school.
Yeah.
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 There is something that's interesting that I still haven't really figured out sociologically. That like,
Let's do it now. Let's figure it out now.
well, it's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Filipino families are very bad at talking about
Yeah.
like what went on in the Philippines
Yeah.
and like everything that like I don't know a thing about my great grandparents.
100%.
Like I only know that they died because my
Yeah.
grandma one time I asked my grandma, I was like, "Where's your mom at?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "She's dead. Everyone dies."
Can I give you? I'll give you a piece of advice. Marry a white woman, because I never knew my parents' like story of like them getting married or whatever. It's I had like three like a log line version of the story.
Yeah.
And then the first time I brought Briga home to like have dinner with my family, I was like, tell the story, and it was an hour-long story. They like tap danced for her and did the whole thing.
Wow,
and I was like, there was something about they had to like put on a show that they just divulged everything.
Actually, one time I brought my ex Biz over, and I was like, told my parents, "Hey, can you tell them the Aswang stories?" And they got all weird about it.
Oh,
They were like, she's an Aswang.
be cool, everyone, be cool.
But your parents like brought out Tlinklink and
Oh yeah, Tinickling.
Tinickling, yeah. And they were like just I think we have to wrap it up pretty soon.
Yeah, there's so many funny stories I didn't get to though. Like there's
Petey can wait. It's fine. We can tell some more
Okay,
stories.
so here's some like quick stuff.
Okay.
There was this, just how silly Filipinos are. There's this girl that ran for senator. Her name was Mocha Usan, and she was a
Great name.
big advocate for Duterte.
Yeah.
And was even like, people say that she's kind of like the Alex Jones.
Mocha Usan sounds like a kind of like a drag name, right?
Yeah. She's hot.
Oh, okay.
She's very hot. And then she had a girl group
I love a far right hottie.
Yeah.
called the Mocha Girls, and then they
wow.
would perform at all of these rallies for
Hell
Duterte.
yes. Hell yes. That is so fun.
She named the band after her first name.
Yeah.
The
Mocha Girls. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Shit, that's pretty hot. You got to be pretty hot to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Here, I'm gonna get this one's also. It's funny that he said this. It's not funny. It's also not funny that he said this because this is pretty awful what he said. There was in 1989 there was the Davao hostage crisis, which was there was a prison and 16 prisoners who were all in the same gang. What were they called? The Wild Boys.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yes.
So there was okay, let's go back. 15 Australian Protestant whatever came over on a missionary trip, and they
went into the prison.
They went into the prison to pray for these people and
Yeah.
like sing songs and shit. The Wild Boys all had knives and took them hostage.
Hell yes.
And
That's sick.
it gets more sick and twisted because they all 16 of them died. I think 4 or 5 of the hostages died too.
Yeah.
Because the Filipino government gunned them down.
Yeah.
And there was a few of them that got raped by the Wild Boys.
Okay.
One was Jacqueline Hamill. Now the only reason I'm bringing this
Wait,
up,
they let ladies go into the Wild Boys prison?
yeah,
God damn, dude, you're
Yeah.
tripping.
they weren't thinking this through.
No.
So Jacqueline Hamill got raped
Yeah.
by I think a few people.
And she's an American?
She was an Australian.
Okay, got
White
yeah,
lady.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is an awful thing that Duterte said. That is funny if you think about it.
Okay, let's think about
I'm
it.
ready.
Let's think about it.
What's funny is that he said,
So scared for. Well, we can edit it. Sorry,
Okay.
Autumn.
he said that he should have gotten to her first. Because she was hot.
Yeah. What a
Wow.
psycho. I love it. It is kind of like, it's, if you can remove it from the actual implications of what
Yes,
it
absolutely.
means, it's funny that a guy thinks like that hot lady was probably, like she was good until
Yeah.
this prison
And
thing
he's
went down. What a waste of a hot lady.
It's also funny that he is the president while he's saying this.
Right.
And he's saying this publicly
Yeah.
to thousands of people, and it's being televised, and he's fine with saying
Right.
this.
He said he called Obama a son of a bitch because Obama was like, hey, maybe you shouldn't like kill drug
Kill all
addicts
the
in the
drugs. Yeah,
street.
yeah,
And then
Yeah.
he was like, that guy's a son of a bitch. And everybody
Yeah.
was like, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone was throwing that around. Putang ino mo.
He made it worldwide.
I got Wilfred a pretty badass Duterte shirt for his birthday a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
Duterte,
too small now.
like
Is it like 98 Bulls, like a classic?
no, it's like Duterte, like an outline of him like shooting a gun. And what does it say?
It's like it's like a dare thing.
Yeah, but it says Duterte.
Something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Duterte and
Dare
Dare font?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And he's shooting a gun. It was pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good shirt.
Shout out whatever that website you can get every T-shirt ever made.
All right, I'm finding it.
Yeah.
I'll wear it the next time. You guys got to bring me back so I can wear the T-shirt.
When we go to the
Oh,
Philippines.
when we go to the Philippines, we're
You'll wear that
Oh,
shirt.
people are gonna like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Oh, one more quick one.
Okay.
In 2019, he claimed that he was once gay, but cured himself.
That's right. I remember this one.
He woke up one day and he was like, "Oh no, I've caught gay."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fixed it. You can too.
Do you guys have a culture of like witch doctors? Is there like a name for a witch doctor?
There
Yes.
is. It's the.
I
Did
thought
I
you
not talk
said
about
it.
that with the Oswong thing?
Yeah, what was it again?
I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but like.
Yeah.
That's probably where he went to cure his gayness, though.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
He was like, "I got to eat this plant
Right.
root."
That's the thing in the Jim Carrey Andy Kaufman movie. He goes to the Philippines.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Because pulling the chicken guts out is like a
Right.
scam over there.
Right.
Yeah. God, this guy's too funny. He also said that if Germany had Hitler, the Philippines has me. Hitler killed 3 million,
Wow.
which like, come on.
Cool.
The worst part is that he only said it's
Yeah.
He said 3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said Hitler killed 3 million, and there are 3 million drug users in the Philippines,
Yeah.
and I will kill all of them.
Hey, can you edit out the part of the podcast where I was like, I mean, there's kind of some dimension to him. And I think we should look at him as a full human being. Can we cut that? No, that's going to
This
be.
is actually live stream,
Okay,
so I
great.
apologize
Cool.
for that.
Fantastic.
All right.
No, it's and so we didn't even get to his like presidential election or his terms and stuff like that. How many people did they think he killed?
20,000.
Great,
Up to 20,000.
Great.
So it's like 12
Love
to
that.
20.
Love that.
Yeah.
Great.
That's a big one.
Rene Gube, thank you so much for coming on the show.
I'm so happy
Thanks,
that
guys.
you live here.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I want to come
let's all
see you
go-
guys do comedy.
Let's
and
all go get a hollow right
yeah.
now. It's right around
There's actually
Jollibee's next
a
door.
Jollibee
Legit?
right around the corner, but
Let's go.
it's not gonna
the.
happen.
You are a writer on The Bear, and you
Yeah.
just wrapped writing season 2.
Right before we had to go strike, we wrapped it all up
That's
in a
great.
neat bow. Season 2 comes out June 22nd.
Do you not get to go on set?
I
because of
do.
the strike? Oh, you do.
I did. Well, we were shooting before the strike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we finished shooting before the strike.
Oh, so it's all done.
It's all done.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Does-
check out The Bear.
Check
June
out The Bear.
22nd.
Is John Lithgow in season 2?
Can't speak to it.
Okay, cool.
All
I
right.
feel like John Lithgow's in every show.
Can I make an announcement?
Yeah.
I'm in season 2.
Really?
Ooh.
I got a little thing I'm season 2.
Congratulations.
It was very fun and very cool, and it also had a little energy of like the autistic equipment manager gets put in the fourth quarter kind of a thing. You know what I mean? And I was like, this feels fine. I'll
this
take
is
that.
great.
They just
I love
handed you the
this.
football on the 9-yard line.
No one can catch me. Felt amazing.
That's awesome. Dude.
Yeah. So June
Congrats.
22nd. Come.
Hell
see it.
yeah.
And you have not formed any kind of East Coast improv. There's nowhere to see.
No,
you
I got
live.
no gangs. I got no comedy live shows to see yet, but I'll work on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check out Rene Gube in some of his previous work. He's appeared on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Ground Floor,
Superstore. I saw you
Superstore.
on Superstore.
Superstore.
Very talented writer, married to a very talented performer.
Oh, plug her
Oh,
show.
yeah, plug
Yeah.
her show.
Briga Heelan is starring in Once Upon a One More Time, the Britney Spears jukebox musical. It's in
Ooh.
previews now. Opening night is June 22nd as well.
Congratulations, Briga.
Big night
Big
for
day
the
for you
family.
guys.
Yeah, big day for the family.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks for having us be your host.
You saved it. Saved it.